Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a calm conversation about the mundane, and hopefully it'll allow you to just chill and just enjoy and maybe find your way to some sleep. I'm your host, Marco Timpano, and joining me is Amanda Parker.
I'm here, and we have a special guest today, and that guest is rain.
You might hear it in the background. It's coming down quite in large drops and just washing everything away and just putting a damper on the hot weather we were receiving lately.
And we thought we would record this sort of by the window pane that is, completely soaked and dripping with rain. And we just thought we would record this next to that instead of at the studio today.
So you might hear the splish splosh sound of dripping rain.
Or a gentle patter.
As it goes, sort of ebbs and flows, as water will often do. It's also bringing much needed water to our basil.
That's true. Our basil was looking pretty wilted. All of our plants, I think, have endured quite a heat wave. And so I think they all could use a little soaking. Everybody needs a bath from Mother Nature from time to time.
And I want to thank my listeners to the Insomnia Project, because I just recently published a book, and it would not have been possible without this journey that I've been on with all of you listeners. It's a podcasting book called 25 Things I Wish I Knew Before I Started My Podcast, and talks about this podcast and the things that I uncovered, discovered, and dealt with just by putting it up. So I want to thank everyone who has patiently and enjoyed listening, because that book would not have been possible.
Maybe we should do an episode just on the process of what it took to publish the book. Not maybe today,
sure,
but because I'm sure that would certainly lull some listeners.
Oh, yes, for sure, because it's an arduous, long, and often boring process. So, yeah, maybe we will do that in the future. But let's get back to rain.
I can hear the clap of some thunder in the distance right now.
Tell me about rain. Does it help you fall asleep or relax?
I have memories of my porch in Woodstock, New Brunswick. I spent a lot of my childhood growing up along the St. John River there, which is quite a big river. And our house was on a hill overlooking it. And the porch was a great place to be because you'd get a little wet, but mostly you'd stay dry, and you could watch the lightning making its way into the river. You could sort of count as children the lightning, the space between the lightning and the thunder clap. So I just found it really soothing then. I'm sorry, I don't know if that was your question.
No, that's great. That's wonderful. I remember getting caught in the rain twice in my life. That was very significant and beautiful.
Oh, yeah?
One time was in Nice, and my friend Loretto and I were walking around, and all of a sudden the skies opened up and rain just started falling. And we needed to find a place to get out of the rain. And so we were in search. And it just so happened there was this huge Canadian flag under this covered canopy in front of a building. And we said, let's go there. Maybe it's the embassy. And it was actually a school for Canadian students or something like that. So we kind of sat under the shadow of the Canadian flag under this canopy. And the headmaster came out and said, I'm sorry, you can't be sitting here. And we said, well, we're Canadian. That's a Canadian flag, and it's really raining, so we're taking shelter under it.
And what did he or she say?
He just kind of shrugged his shoulders and said, "That's fine," and walked back in. I guess he couldn't argue with it, and we were going to sit there no matter what. We were soaked, right? So he's like, "Okay, as long as you don't disturb or do anything that is a bit destructive." He didn't really mind.
Right.
Yeah. The other time, I was a cycle tour guide in Europe. So I was riding my bike, and I was kind of left alone because all the guests that we were touring was with the other guide, and they were being brought back to the hotel with our van because it was raining so much, but there wasn't enough room for me. So I stayed under an olive tree in an olive grove and just watched the rain as it came down.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
You also got caught in the rain in my hometown in Woodstock, New Brunswick, did you not? Weren't you driving through and the skies opened up in August?
It's true.
So you actually got to experience that type of, and that was right on the St. John River where you were. I mean, we didn't know each other well, but you were actually walking distance from my house.
Oh, I was that close.
You were that close,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was huge drops.
Yeah.
And the skies were this beautiful shade of gray, and the water was green, and it was really intense and wonderful.
Yeah, and that's how I sort of remember those skies. There is something soothing. I mean, obviously rain can be soothing, but I even find a thunderstorm incredibly soothing. If I'm going through a hard time,
Sure.
I find that sometimes it's like I'm being honored, and like the skies see my pain.
I see.
And they honor it, and they express their pain in a way. If you think a thunderstorm is pain, which I don't think, it's putting emotions onto a natural occurrence. But I think there's something so cathartic. If you're going through a hard time, when you're crying, if you see rain, it's like the world is crying with you.
Right.
And suddenly you realize you're not alone.
And there's so many expressions associated with rain, like right as rain.
True. No rain, no gain.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Because it's not an expression.
I like that one.
It's no pain, no gain.
If you hear some creaking sound, it's because we're on antique chairs, because we're not in our studio. So every time I move, you hear a little bit of a creak.
And actually, this table is from Woodstock, New Brunswick.
That's right, it is.
Yeah, my next door neighbor who lived on that hill next door to us and witnessed many a thunderstorm in her life up there.
One of my favorite things is and once again, I'm going to just say it because our listeners hear me talk about it all the time, but when we're at our cottage, in one bedroom, we just have the roof, and there's no sort of ceiling tiles.
There's nothing between us and the weather. It's just wood.
Wooden shingles. And so you can hear the pitter patter of the rain on the roof when you're sleeping, and it lulls me to sleep right away, that sound.
It's there's something just very comforting and soothing. I think the comfort comes from knowing that you don't have to be out in it, that you're in a safe, warm place.
Yeah, it's true.
And if a storm is loud enough or gusty enough, then there's some comfort in knowing that you have, that your only care in the world is that you have somewhere safe and warm and your own. Even if it's, your own bed.
Yes.
We all prefer things a certain way, like groceries. If you want groceries just how you like them, you gotta try Instacart. They have a new preference picker that lets you pick how ripe or unripe you want your bananas. Shoppers can see your preferences up front, helping guide their choices. Because when it comes to groceries, the details matter. Instacart. Get groceries just how you like.
I also remember a time when I got caught in, how some rain is very warm in the summer and depending where you are? So I got caught in a rainstorm with Michelle Miracle, who was a guest on this show, in Florida.
Right, I do remember that. Florida has some incredible rain.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, tropical for sure.
Yeah.
I remember that day. I remember a picture of the two of you completely soaked.
We were wearing just t-shirts and shorts. It was supposed to be a lovely sunny day. We had no accoutrements one would want. No umbrella, no galoshes, no plastic hat, no, what are those things called? Those plastic poncho type things.
Sure, rain ponchos.
None of those things.
The skies just opened up. I mean, that tends to be what happens in warmer climates anyway. You'll have like a 3:00 rain shower, but it never lasts very long, So that's really typical of Florida, where my parents are, and certainly of other spots in the Caribbean too.
We have a lot of listeners in the UK, and I know they experience rain.
But do they have the same? I actually don't know this, and I have spent some time in the UK, but not enough to know, and not enough in the really hot summer months.
Sure.
Although I sometimes wonder how hot their summer months get. Because I know this year they've had a pretty cool summer from my friends that are there.
I can tell you this. Every time I go to the UK, I get the most beautiful weather. I'm always anticipating rain. I always get sunny, beautiful weather. The people I've encountered have always been so pleasant.
When you and I were there last. Yeah.
And
although it was kind of cool and gray, actually. Now that I think about it, we were wearing sweatshirts, and that was June.
We were? Mm-hmm. Well, I loved it nonetheless, and I love the color of their grass and lawns, and their gardens are all nourished with rain.
But that's why I wonder, I think it's more temperate. I don't know that they get these huge, rambunctious thunderstorms. I mean, this one that we're sitting in right now, which, by the way, seems to have passed, although there's still lots dripping out there. It's still very gray. But I don't know that they, this is a tornado warning, actually, that we're sitting in, which I don't think it's for us, but it's, now I should comment that in Ontario, a tornado warning is not
what it's like in other places.
Yeah, it's not like it's not Antiem or whatever. But I don't think that they experience that kind of weather in the UK.
I think they get
Tornado
storms. No, I don't know about tornadoes, but they certainly get stormy weather, especially by the sea. They're surrounded by the sea.
Sure.
And it rewards them with the most beautiful gardens and the most beautiful roses. I guess roses love rain, don't they?
Well, I think roses are tricky.
Right.
It's not that they love rain. It's that they like temperate.
Oh, I see.
So a good amount of sun.
Yes.
A good amount of rain, but never too much of one.
I see.
That's sort of, roses are tricky little creatures, and that's why here they're not the easiest things to grow, because we do get some blaring hot, humid sun and sunny days, so you need to grow them in something a bit more shady.
Right.
Like my mother has roses in Florida, but they only grow in February. I remember roses in England in January blooming.
Wow.
I remember being there for the millennium.
Are you sure?
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, I was there for the millennium. They had just put the big wheel up, which was supposed to be temporary, but it's still there, I think. And I was...
The Ferris wheel you're talking about.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, the eye.
The eye, yeah, the eye.
And I was walking to, I think, the Royal Museum.
Sure.
Is that what it's called?
Makes sense to me.
There are a lot of mummies there, I remember. But anyway, the person I was with was in school at that time, so I went by myself. And I remember having this day and looking at roses and thinking to myself, can you believe it? There's roses in January here, because it was the first week of January. So that's what I mean by temperate. I think they just have, at least in London, maybe not in, northern Scotland, but... Sure.
I will say this, I have a confession to make, and that is...
Oh, no.
And it's associated with rain, in a way. I have a tendency to lose Amanda's umbrellas, and she has these beautiful umbrellas, and I'm going to admit it.
Well, not anymore.
It's true. I'm going to admit it on this podcast. I've lost 2 or 3.
I think just 2.
2 beautiful umbrellas that she had. So tell us about those umbrellas so that we can put this to rest once and for all.
I don't remember the second one. I think I blocked that one out. But the one of note that I remember, I had an acting gig in Vancouver.
That Vancouver experiences a lot of rain as well.
It does, yeah.
And so we set the scene for the umbrella in Vancouver.
So it was February in Vancouver, which is winter, and winter in Vancouver, if you've ever been, means rain. So I was there, I think, a week. It never stopped raining from the moment I got off the plane till the moment I got back on. Everything in my purse, I remember, and backpack was damp.
Oof.
Because it just, everything was, you couldn't go outside without getting wet. And so I had a slicker, as my mom would call it, a rain slicker.
Sure.
Or raincoat, I guess.
Yeah.
And I had an umbrella. Actually, I didn't have an umbrella. That's the thing.
Okay.
So I went for a walk with a bunch of actors. We went to Granville Island, and there's a bridge that you walk to get to Granville Island. We were doing it all on foot. And for those who don't know or haven't been to Vancouver, Granville Island is a really fun, artsy little part. Obviously, it's an island, but you can get to it via bridge.
Kind of right in the city.
Yeah,
like,
it's
that's one of the
right
beautiful
in the
things
city,
about
yeah.
it. It's right there, like
In Vancouver,
Yeah.
it's right. It's really downtown almost, you know.
it is downtown.
Yeah.
It's really a gem
Yeah.
in a city that's so beautiful to
And
start
it's
with.
artist work. It's an island full of artist workshops and restaurants and all these wonderful things. So it's a great place to go sightsee and just sort of pal around for a while. So a bunch of us went for the afternoon, and I didn't have a rain.
Slicker.
No, I had a rain slicker,
Okay.
but I didn't have an umbrella. That's
Okay.
what that's called. I was going to say a rain device.
The shielder of the wetness.
Also known as an umbrella. Anyway, and under the bridge, somehow, I just remember that it was under the bridge, and I don't know how I remember this.
I know exactly where you're.
Yeah.
I can pinpoint and visualize exactly what you're talking about.
I was there, and there was this really nice umbrella, and it actually kind of looked like my slicker, and then it was polka dots. And so it had little polka dots all over it.
Was this an umbrella person selling it on the side of the street, or
No, it was a store
dedicated solely?
to umbrellas.
No.
So A, they know their market,
Right.
they know their city, and B, they were nice umbrellas. They were $30 and $40 umbrellas,
Okay.
not the $2, $2.99 jobby, the clear piece of plastic that you get on the side of the
It
street.
lasts you 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and then
but you
one
got
gust
there.
of wind.
Yeah, exactly. Not those ones you don't keep. This was a keeper. And I really liked it. And I thought, well, this will be the one thing, because I travel a lot and you don't want to accumulate a lot of stuff.
Sure.
But it's nice when it's something useful, like a spoon rest or an umbrella. So
course.
I thought this will be my one thing I bring back from Vancouver, and that'll be my little souvenir. So I used it and enjoyed it. And then later that year, we were in... And actually, I think it was, when I think about it, probably the next year, we were in New Brunswick. Our driving to New Brunswick. You, me, and your cousin.
Oh, that's right.
Your
That's
cousin
right.
Mauro and his wife Stella, who are good friends of ours, as well as family. And so we drove out to New Brunswick, actually to get things like this table.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, although this table is had a slightly different path because it spent some time in Nashville first with my parents when
Right.
they lived in Tennessee for 10 years. But anyway, to get a lot of the furniture that is now in this house. And so we spent the night in Montreal. And so I remember you were upset about something. I feel like we had a fight.
No, it wasn't you and I. I was upset about something and I wanted to go for a walk.
Yeah.
It was late at night.
You had a lot to think about, and
Sure.
something happened and you weren't happy. And I actually don't remember what
Nor
it
do I.
was. So you went for a walk, and it might have rained. It was going to maybe rain. So I said, here. You wanted to go by yourself and clear your head. So I said, here, take my umbrella.
And I kept saying, no, I don't need it.
But it was going to rain. And then when you came back, I don't know if you kept saying no. Yeah, you probably did.
I said it once.
And I said, listen, it's going to rain. Just hang on to it.
Right.
Okay, fine. And you had a bag with you, so you put it in the bag.
Right.
Like a little sort of sack. Anyway, you came back about an hour later. Thank you so much for the umbrella. You said it did rain. And I said, okay, where is it? And you said, oh, I left it in the restaurant. I went in and got a slice of pizza, and I guess I left it there. And you said it like that. And I was...
Very dismissively, I must say.
You were very dismissive about it. And I said, that's my umbrella. And I was mad that you lost it to some degree. But listen, umbrellas do get lost.
Right.
But I was more mad at the way you dismissed it.
My nonchalance. I was
You're
in
like,
Montreal.
well, whatever, too bad. You're like, I think I left it there, or maybe somewhere else. Must have been there.
Thinking it was like an inexpensive umbrella.
Yeah, you didn't understand that it was my my $40 souvenir that I got from Vancouver, and not only what I spent on it. I mean, I had it for a year or so,
Right.
but just that it was kind of had some meaning to me. And
What color was it?
it was polka dots. It was black with polka dots. I
White
think.
polka dots?
No, multicolored
Oh, okay.
polka dots. It was like a black umbrella, I think, with all these different colored polka dots on it. Anyway, that's the story of the first umbrella. What's the second one that you lost on me? You said you had two
Did
stores.
you have like a Van Gogh umbrella? Like it had like
Yeah, I think so.
sunflowers on
Yeah,
it?
my mom gave it to me.
Yeah, I'm sure I lost that one.
Really?
Do we have it still? Maybe it's in the
No,
car.
you lost
it
it.
might be in the car.
It's definitely not in the car. My mom does give me nice umbrellas. So I think she had gotten that one like in Paris maybe. Or New York.
Well, sorry.
Well, I'll take you over an umbrella any day.
There you go. I'll try to protect you over the rain. I'll you know how people like will lift their jackets kind of when they get caught in the rain and they're wearing a jacket, they'll kind of shrug their shoulders up, pull the neck part of their
so you're
jacket
gonna do this?
forward over their head and kind of walk.
But you're demonstrating this with just your own skin since you're not wearing a shirt.
I'm trying to describe it so our listeners
Well,
know.
it sounds like, to me, it looks like you're going to pull your skin over me.
No, I'm going to
and
pull
make
my...
a skin shield.
There you go. Oh my goodness. It looks like the rain is almost let up, but it's just you know what I love to do in the rain as well, besides fall asleep? I love to brew myself a nice Earl Grey tea, have a scone or a biscuit, lemon poppy seed, anything, clotted cream, strawberry jam, and just sit back with a book.
I have a box of cheddar biscuits and some sour cream that's gone off, so it might be clotted.
Well, no, I don't want that. My goodness, but that's one of the things I love to do when it rains. What do you love to do when it rains?
I like to watch TV.
Oh.
Yeah, I like to curl up under a duvet or an Afghan and just watch a show that I can give my undivided attention to.
Does the show have to feature rain in it?
It's the show Rain.
Oh, rain.
No, I'm joking.
Spelled R-E-I-G-N-E.
No, the show does not have to. I don't know. What kind of shows feature rain?
Oh, I don't know. Like,
you know, my favorite, I watch the Weather Network.
One thing I love to do, though, and we were talking about this with friends, is, you know, when you're in a hotel in a different city, watching the local news of that place.
It really is
one of my favorite
that
things
has nothing to do with rain, but
I know, but
actually I love being in a hotel when it's raining though.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, there's something really nice about that. You know what it is too? I think there's something in me being Canadian
and American.
Yes, I am both, but I am from climates that don't have some sun year round.
Sure.
So I think one of the things I love about rain, particularly in the summer, is I don't feel that need or that inner voice telling me you better go out and enjoy that sunny day because you don't know how many you'll get before it's gray and awful out there again. And that's something that plays in your head nonstop, as certainly as a Canadian, I think.
Sure.
That's a pretty universal experience. Although in Vancouver, I guess it's a bit different. But so when there's rain in the summer, I always feel like, well, the pressure's off. I can stay inside. And I don't hear my mother when I was a little kid saying, you better go outside. It's a nice day out there. Don't spend it in the house.
Right.
You know, because we'd want to be on like video games or something.
I also like the feel of the atmosphere and sky and just the air after it rains. When you go outside, the ground's still being wet, but there's this different scent or feeling in the air.
And the pressure changes sometimes too. Sometimes it's like Mother Nature had something that she wanted to get off her chest.
Sure.
And then she got it off and it's cleared the air. You know, kind of like tears. I think there's that cleansing idea where sometimes you need, even if you don't know why, you just need to have a good cry. And then afterwards you feel better, even though nothing much has changed, but you've allowed it to emerge from you in a physical way. So I think there's something to be said for that.
Cathartic about rain.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, when it rain showers and the sun is out, I don't know what that phenomenon is called.
I don't know that it has a name.
Oh, okay. But that always...
A sun shower.
A sun shower, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That always reminds me of my grandmother.
Why?
Whenever that happens. She had an expression that, in her dialect of Italian, which translates to, when there's a sun shower, the expression is, the witches are combing their hair.
Can you say it in dialect?
Le strisce si patinano I ceve is what it is the expression.
The witches are combing their hair.
In other words, they comb their hair. I think I've said this on the podcast before. They comb their hair, and as they comb their hair, raindrops fall as they pull. I don't know.
It's always a weird thing because it's like, so are they the sun then?
They're in the sky. I don't know. Like, I don't know the intricacies of that expression. I just know my grandmother used to say it, and she just defined it like that.
Right.
But every time it happens, I remember that expression. I remember my grandmother saying it. So sun showers remind me of my grandmother.
That's nice.
Were you ever on the ocean or on the sea when it rained?
Always, yeah.
Okay.
In Cape Cod, when I was a kid, before we moved to New Brunswick, we'd spend some time in the summer in Cape Cod, like everybody in New England. And I love those rainy afternoons in that little cottage in Cape Cod, reading a book. I remember I don't know how I found it. I think it was in our house. Somehow I got my hands on a very old copy of The Crucible, of all things.
Of course, while you're in New England.
Yeah, and I was like 11. I didn't know about, like, there was a foreword about how it was about the McCarthy hearings, which I had no idea what that was because
Sure.
it was like 1987. But anyway, I remember reading The Crucible from, maybe it was in the cottage.
Sure.
And I just found it and read it. I don't know. But I remember reading it there. I also remember I went through a John Grisham phase.
Haven't we all?
So I remember reading
The Firm.
The Firm. I think The Firm. What's Tom
The
Cruise?
Pelican Brief, The Firm.
Yeah, I think it was The Firm. And I think I also read the one that Matthew McConaughey was in.
The Rainmaker?
No. It was
I can't remember.
yeah, it was Southern. I don't remember. But that's going to bother me now. But anyway, I do remember reading The Firm there and being really engaged, which,
Sure.
I was 12 probably when I read that. So, but to a 12-year-old, it's a very engaging book.
Of course. Well, this was a very engaging episode, at least on my part.
Me
I want
too.
to apologize once again for losing your umbrellas. I'll do better in the future.
I hope so.
And I hope you enjoyed this episode about the rain.
I certainly did.
Until next time, we hope you listen and sleep.